I sound right now? I could be a bit louder. Okay. Think that sounds good? Alright. Where is it? Okay. So the music wasn't going to stay around for much longer. Actually, I could turn myself a little bit down. All right. Yeah, no. That's just the pre-stream. I'm going to be moving over. Ooh, whoops. Actually, I can move chat probably like over here. Yep, top left. That looks good. Okay. Actually, I'm probably not going to stream for too long today. I still have a Halloween party I need to go to, and then I would have to like get ready for it. I would have to get dressed and stuff, and that'll happen. Ooh. Just realized that. Hold on. Video capture. Capture. Is there a... Okay, there isn't a way to flip it horizontally based on what I'm seeing right now. It should be fine. All right. There we go. Oh man, I was checking audio levels with my own stream open in the background and forgot to fix that. But that's fine. Alright. Yeah, so today we got the 30-Minute Sisters ILSHANA, which I feel is perfectly themed for Halloween. This box open. Now, 30-Minute Sisters is a kit line from Bandai that I'm quite fond of. It's very similar to the Mecha Musume stuff of like Kotobukiya, but relatively speaking easier to get into and a bit more customized friendly, at least from the get-go. In fact, because the 30-Minute Sister kits, like the ILSHANA, are like a bit easier to get, like right off the bat. Like I know, like a lot of frame arms girl kits, and the Mecha Musume stuff, like easy 60 and up. If I remember correctly, I think I picked up the ILSHANA for like 30. Give me a moment to actually price check that. Did she sell out on the website I bought her on? Yeah, so I picked up the ILSHANA for like roughly $30 USD, and then they also have little expansion sets that you could pick up to, you know, have a little bit more variety right off the bat. So this is probably going to be a two-parter, because I don't think I can finish this kit tonight, and I do want to build the expansion set for that, and that'll probably be something I stream earlier in the day tomorrow. And honestly, like, it just feels like a waste that I haven't streamed as much, because I've been working on some like other projects. So like one of the projects is just like I want to do a video essay on like games that I really care about. In doing so, like, during the process of writing that video essay, I got ideas for like a couple of others that I could do, and I feel like it'd be a shame to just throw those away. So I've just kind of been like cataloging a lot of my ideas, and then just kind of like, I actually write down my ideas in like composite notebooks, and I just store them, right? And every so often I'll just like find them and then go through them again. And so like, again, I have ideas for stories that I've never written, ideas for stories that I started writing but never finished, and all that. So there's like a bunch of project stuff that I want to do for this channel. One of which is actually like writing a story through this channel, because there's like a narrative universe that I've been thinking of. Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And I like the ideas that I've come up with, and I thought maybe like live streaming the process would be a good way to like actually get something done, while also like if someone has feedback on how to do it better, I could just take that like for granted. Actually, I'm gonna shrink myself a little bit. I think that's good. Yeah. So there's that. I'm also working on some other projects that I don't want to talk about quite yet, because nothing's set in stone for those. But yeah, the ILSHANA is like for 30-minute missions, 30-minute sister kits. This one I felt was like particularly fun, especially because of like the Halloween colors. As you could have saw earlier, like there's the white, there's a lot of like orange as well, so it has that little pumpkin-y vibe to it. If you look on the manual, oops, could just kind of hold it up. It'll be backwards because of how my camera is, but like, just that design. She has a little club with a skull on it. Her, like, wings kind of look skeletal to them. Like, just, it's a very fun design. But yeah, I was at a different Halloween party last night, and so another one of my plans is something I want to stream. I want to stream like Diablo 2. One of my friends had a computer that was just set up to like just do whatever in case like the beer pong table was used up or whatever. So like I went on it and he had Diablo 2, so I was just like I started a run of Diablo 2 and just at first I picked Sorceress because I didn't plan to be attached to the character. And then when my friend was like, "Oh, are you playing Amazon?" I'm like, "What do you mean? This is the Sorceress." And his response was, "Well, there's only 2 like female characters in that game that you can play as." And like, excuse me. So I started an assassin and named the assassin she/her. And now I'm really attached to she/her, and I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna stream a run of assassin. I'm thinking the build is gonna be something like trap assassin. I don't know how good that actually is gonna be, or how long it would take for me to actually like do it, but yeah, no, it just like it reminded me of some like just fun times. Alright. This runner feels... Alright, so it says... Okay, so this is a Bandai. Alright. This runner right here feels like a Kotobukiya runner. That's strange. Okay. Yeah. Like, a bunch of my friends made a big deal about, what was it called? Not the expansion, but like, the re-release, remake that, Battle.net did a while ago. Or Blizzard, rather. And I picked that up, and that was fine. That was great. That was a fun experience. But, some of my friends just didn't stick with it. One of my friends made one character. Couldn't think of a name, so just defaulted to PP Poo Poo. And the character got deleted, and he lost all of his progress because the name was air quotes inappropriate for like the most childish thing he could think of. So like that ruined all of his desire to continue playing Diablo 2 at that time. Okay. Alright, looks like nothing fell off of the runners. Alright, cool. I'll probably cut open the face parts later. But yeah. I think I started a character or 2 on there like a long time ago, and then just never followed up. Yeah, I'm not sure. But let's start with face. But yeah, I was also thinking about like that one game I finished on stream, Lost in Vivo. the developer of Lost in Vivo is someone that I how do I put this? I'm a big fan of their work, and I do want to visit some of their other stuff, right? I wanted to visit Lunacid again, but there's the problem that Lunacid is a game that I've already beaten, or I've completed as much as there is of that game out because it's still early access. What else? I'm gonna do this one. But yeah, Lunacid is a game that I've completed as much as there is out of it up to date. But I kind of just want to play it again. But I didn't want to play it for Halloween, because Halloween is just, you know, it's supposed to be something spooky. So, in like these last couple days before Halloween, and probably like a couple days into November, because Dia de los Muertos, I'm probably gonna stick with horror games and stream a bit more, so it kind of like make up for the amount of days that I missed streaming because I've been working on projects. Oh crap! I just realized that I never replaced the. My nephew got his hands on the sanding sponges I've been using, so I never pulled out the replacements. That's 8. That's 6. Alright. These are pretty much the only sanding sponges that I use, really. The only other things I can think of, like, immediately, because the only other thing that I've been doing, aside from working on the projects, writing up, like, ideas for stories and whatnot, is, you know, just doing my day job, which has been great. With like one thing that kind of isn't the greatest that happened, I got kind of chewed out by someone higher up, because I've been kind of dozing off on this job. It's really wild to find out that you snore really loudly by someone scolding you for snoring really loudly. I didn't know that was a thing. So, and it doesn't help that my day job, like I work with students, right? I'm not a teacher, but I do work with students. So the students have caught me snoring, which, you know, it doesn't make a great impression. Doesn't set a good example and whatnot. But yeah, so to avoid that happening and becoming a bigger problem further down the line, that smug little face. Alright. But yeah, so like, just to, yeah, just to kind of deal with that, I've started drinking coffee, right? Coffee is something that I've wanted to avoid for like as long as I could. No immediate particular reason. Oh, what? Hold on. Alright, I'm gonna try this part out. So, but yeah, just real quick. So right now, you can see there's like a bit of a pink to her mouth. This part right here is similar to that. Kind of hard to see it because it's all molded in white. But there's actually a relief for the teeth there. So I'm gonna... That's gonna look neat. But yeah, no. So like that's the thing though. Like I'm not good with coffee. The few times I've drank it, I've drank too much of it. Right? One occasion was like for once I'm not the most social person, right? But like when COVID was around, the college classes I was taking were like online through Zoom, right? Because it was online, I felt a bit more comfortable talking and being a character in the calls. That's just how that was. I'm more comfortable online in things like Discord calls, Zoom calls, whatnot, than I am in a normal, like, in real life setting. So, I'm probably never gonna find that piece again, but I'll look for it later. Okay. But yeah, yeah. So after all the students finally met in person, there were responses from my classmates being like, "Wow, you're a lot quieter in person." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's hard to socialize in person. It takes more energy." But one of my classmates actually went like, "Hey, yo, wanna grab some coffee?" And the main reason why they suggested is because like they saw me like passing out in the middle of the college lectures and stuff like that. Mostly because like at around a certain point in the day, just my body gets extremely tired. No matter like what I've been doing, it's just at, I want to say like 1 p.m. Like at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., my body is begging me for a break and to take a nap. And it's been like that for, I want to say, years. Yeah. It's been like that for, like, I want to say years. And so I went with my classmate to grab my first like Starbucks, right? The only time, like the only coffee I'm familiar with is like black, right? So I go there and I ask for a black coffee, and so they asked me for a size, and I just went with the largest thing they had. And then they asked me if I wanted my coffee to be hot. I'm just like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, why would I want my coffee cold? And that just kind of like set the whole like tone for like how just out of it. Yeah, pretty much. Nah, I have a good relationship with the guy. But yeah, no. So like, I got that coffee, and I'm not great with hot things. So like I just sip at it every so often and burn my tongue on it, and just go like, yeah, this is fine. And just like later into the day, like the coffee's cold enough for me to just actually drink it, like a little over room temperature, so it was very nice. And so I just start drinking it because like I paid, you know, good money for this coffee. I'm not gonna let it go to waste. I'm not gonna pour it all out. So I drank that whole thing of coffee, and then I was up until 3 in the morning and ended up just having to miss the next day because there was no way I could take that extra day of class. Yeah, no. So like I don't get cold coffee. I really don't. Like above room temperature is where I prefer my coffee. Like it has to be enough for my stomach to feel warm and loved, but not like, so like a little bit above room temperatures where I feel is like ideal for coffee. So like that's the thing, right? So I still think coffee is gross, despite that being my first like major experience with coffee, and then my second one being like I needed to stay up to make sure that I could finish a finals in time. So I ended up drinking like 3 cups of coffee, not knowing how coffee worked. And lo and behold, I was up until like 2 in the morning again. But yo, I got that paper done. I got an A on it. Felt so good for something I did last minute. But yo, we take that victory. We take it. That's how we want to do it, right? Yeah. Okay. So I still take my coffee black, right? I don't want to add creamer to it. I don't want to make it sweeter. I don't want to make it taste better. I like that it's bitter. I like that drinking it feels like I'm being punched in the face. The idea of coffee being an angry substance that I am subjecting myself to just makes sense that it keeps me awake. And I think people who use like creamer and all that stuff are cowards who want to like coffee. I don't want to normalize drinking coffee for myself more than I have to. So the idea of actually liking the taste of coffee makes me concerned. So I like drinking it black that way. I do want to try picking up some other coffee grains though, because I like Face Connect, and Face Connect has coffee, and we grind our beans in this house apparently. But yeah, so recently I've been drinking coffee just so I could stay awake on the job, and it's been working well. But I got to experience what it's like for coffee to go cold, and that's just not great. I ended up trying to power through it just because, again, like I had a whole like it's a thermos, right? So it's supposed to like keep the drink like warm for longer, and it works. But like by halfway through my work shift, like the coffee does get cold, and drinking it at that point feels vile. Like even more so. Like when it's warm, like when it's hot, it's scalding my tongue, right? When it's like that perfect temperature of like above room temperature, but not quite like scalding hot. When it's like in that zone, like I genuinely think that drinking it feels great. Where it feels great, not taste, feels. And then like after that, I feel like what's the point? Like not only like I feel cold coffee is angry coffee. Cause like not only is it like angry you let it get cold, it is like attacking your stomach as you drink it. I hate it. I hate cold coffee. And like I just kind of pushed myself to finish the mug last time, right? And that just led to me having all sorts of stomach issues. And those issues did not solve themselves until like regurgitation got involved. The day after that, I tried drinking a energy drink instead of coffee, and I don't think the energy drink holds up to like what coffee does for me. Like back when I was younger, back when I was a teenager, like I would like spend a weekend at my like brother's house and just play like Call of Duty for him, right? So like I would boost his account essentially, like back in like Modern Warfare 2 days, because like he's working and whatnot. So like I grind his account, I get him new guns and stuff, and like it's fun. And like he would hook me up with like a energy drink every now and then. And it never made me feel like more awake. It just made me feel jittery. Yo, wait, hold up. No, this looks good. Let me just... This headpiece looks very good. Alright. Kinda reminds me of, there's a streamer and artist that I know who's a bit on the lower side of things. He's been great, though. He's been posting stuff in the picture gallery? Not picture gallery. Art exhibit? Art exhibit, yeah. Oh man, I can't get it. I can't get his full name. But in a server I'm in for the Duo Loveline Twins because I mod for them. There's another streamer who posts his art there, and his art's fantastic. I really like it. and some of his character designs remind me of ILSHANA, or vice versa, rather. ILSHANA reminds me of his artwork. Okay. Anyways, back to this. That's the head. Now they want me to use runner B. E. So let's get the drawer out so I can move some of these things away. B. So, this is for the chest. No. No, I will not put it in a jar. God, I'm taking damage. I don't know, man. Like, I've seen people do that with like their like anime figurines, right? And it hurts. Like I take psychic damage every time I see something like that. Oh yeah, I'm done with that runner. Okay. So what parts was it? 11. No. 1, 2, and 4. Okay. Because, like, when I look at, like, an anime figurine, right? Or a model kit, Mecha Musume and whatnot, right? I see, like, a lot of effort and love put into the art, and the design of the character and all that stuff, right? And some of the connotations of, you know, putting it in a jar, or some of the unsavory stuff that I'm not gonna bring up on stream, that people do to their figurines, just feels like a major insult to all of that. At the end of the day, if you own it, you do you, but I can't, man. Okay, so they want... Yeah, that looks good. And that's even with me, like, looking at some of the less savory, like, anime figurines, too. Okay. So there's that piece, and then they want before and after. But yeah, so I am looking forward to streaming Diablo 2. There were some other things I was like looking at. I have a friend who hooks me up with thumbnails. Shoutouts to Ryu Baby Hands. So probably during like Dia de los Muertos, I'm gonna do like a short Guerilla stream of a game. By short, I mean like it's gonna be like half the length of like a normal 2-hour stream that I would do. depending on how well I remember this. But so I played through Diablo 3 and I like it. I genuinely do like Diablo 3. I like the more arcadey-ness of it. Where it's less... There's a certain, like, tone and feel to Diablo 2 that's missing in Diablo 3. But honestly, I think that's fine. Yeah, it's a bit arcadey, like, enemies explode with items, and it's very, like... It feels like you like, hit a jackpot on a, like, slot machine. And it feels a little weird because of that, but I don't mind it. Like, what the characters can do and the visual, like, aspect of it. Like, yeah, it's not as grim or grimdarky, but the Crusader was a bit strong. But, like, that's one of the things about, like, the game, right? So, like, yeah, your first playthrough might be hard, like, easy, right? But you can always, like, keep going, and then the game only gets harder. And it's up to you to keep up with your gear, and keep up with your build to make it succeed in those harder difficulties. But that also requires you to make the investment that you want to play in the harder difficulties beyond an initial playthrough and all that. I played it... Yeah, it expects multiple playthroughs, which I don't think is unfair or wrong. Because, like, to expect multiple playthroughs is fine, in my opinion. It's just not everyone's gonna do it. And that's, like, something that does scare me about games that require multiple playthroughs. Like, for example, Armored Core 6, right? There's 3 endings to the game. And for you to get the full experience, you would want to get all 3 endings. But some people would just play through it, get the one ending, and then call it there. When there's so much more to the game that they didn't experience because they didn't go for the second and third playthrough because the game devs expected you to go through it. Okay. Actually, that was a very fortunate bend. Okay. So A11 and 12. Okay. Yeah, so some of the other things, like, what I was trying to bring up before was, there's a game called, Nightmare of Decay. Nightmare of Decay is a game that I've, like, beaten multiple times at this point. And what it is, someone, like, looked at Resident Evil and went, like, I wanted to make, like, sorry. When I said he looked at Resident Evil, I meant he looked at, like, old school Resident Evil, like, classic. Or, like, Resident Evil on the Nintendo GameCube. Right? The remake of the first one. And went, like, I want to make that game. And make it first person. And so that's what the guy did. He made his own game that, like, feels like a Resident Evil game. It does some of the, like, Resident Evil tropes, but it's its own original game, and it's great. It's a wonderful game. I love it. The reason why I want to play it on a stream that's a bit shorter than normal is because I want to speedrun that game. Yeah. Like, the graphics are very intentionally old school. But, like, it still has some of that, like, really old school charm to it. And I want to speedrun that game. But a lot of the speedruns I see of that game, in terms of, like, what people have records for, are, like, New Game Plus runs, where they use, like, some really overpowered stuff that you get for, like, subsequent runs and stuff. And, like, that's fine, but I want to do, like, a New Game Zero, like, speedrun of the game. I remember the fastest speed I got for a New Game Zero, like, run of that game was something like 46-ish minutes or something like that in one setting. Because, like, on your first playthrough, if you don't know anything, it's like 4 hours. Like, it could easily take 4 hours or longer, depending. But, like, on subsequent playthroughs, like, when you know where to go and all that stuff, and you know certain, like, tricks, you could, like, you know, beat the game much faster, to the point where, like I said earlier, I did it like 46-ish, 49-ish minutes in one setting. And the original, like, idea was to speedrun a friend. That, like, years, like, I want to say like 1 year ago or something like that at this point. Just, like, as a thing to do with a friend. But like, off stream, right? Because this is before I started making content. But now I just kind of want to do it. Actually, hold on. Are there any speedrunning records for New Game Zero? Speedrun records. Nightmare of like, the guy who made it, right? Show rules. If you have unlocked any or all, you are still allowed to use the same save file for regular 80%. Not allowed to pause the game for more than 10 seconds during run. So 80% normal. Oh jeez. People are, like, doing it in, like, sub 24 minutes. Like, the current, like, 80% normal is 15 minutes. Shotgun only, melee only, knife only. Yeah, we have, like, a Swedish dude who's kind of destroying it. You know, good on him. But yeah, I just want to see, like, how fast I could run it as, like, a personal thing. Okay. A9-8. Okay. So now we're using these parts. But yeah, so there's that. Earlier I was also talking about Lost in Vivo's developer, who goes by Akira. I want to play Akira's other stuff, right? I already talked about like Lunacid, and I kind of want to go back to the game just for the sake of going back to it because I really like that game. It's like King's Field, and it's the most From Software a game has ever felt without being made by From Software, in my opinion. So there were those. But he also did work for a collection of horror games called the Dread X Collection. Right? It's like Dread X Collection. Something. Hold on. Let me look at it on Steam. Dread X Collection The Hunt, right? One of, like, the Dread X Collection is a series of, like, air quotes, like, haunted PS1 games and whatnot. Akira made a game for it called Uktena 64. And to my knowledge, Uktena has some story relevance to, like, Lost in Vivo. Because Lost in Vivo talked about, like, some things that are like almost Eldritch Gods at one point, and I forgot the name of one of them, but that Eldritch God shows up or has something to do with Uktena 64. So I do want to play that and get to see all the other, like, core games that are on that collection, because to my knowledge they're all, like, pretty good. I'll probably, because again, I still have that party I gotta go to later tonight, so I'll do what I can of this between tonight, like what I'm doing right now, and tomorrow. I can maybe wrap it up. And then I'll be doing something on Monday and Tuesday. What I do on Wednesday really depends on some information that I don't have yet. But I plan on doing a lot in this coming week. Kind of make up for all the Halloween stuff that I wanted to do but just couldn't, mostly because, like, I just started to do other stuff. Lost in Vivo thing will probably be not Lost in Vivo. Me playing Lunacid will probably be like later into next month. Dread X might be Monday. And I might start the Diablo thing like Tuesday. Hold on. Oh, wait, actually, there's a horror-themed Doom, like, boomer shooter that I want to give a shot called Cultic. Oh, I forgot A13. That could have been really bad. I've also been reading some new manga. New to me, not like, oh, the manga are like just currently being published as like a new franchise. Because like a group of friends have been watching Bleach in a Discord, and rewatching Bleach was like really nostalgic. So I just decided to just kind of go back to trying to read manga. And so, like, it started with just trying to find stuff that I remember, just never finishing, right? So, like, I'm currently all caught up to Nagatoro. I'm currently all caught up to, what were some other things? Ranking of Kings. I'm currently all caught up to King of Kings, Nagatoro. What else have I seen? Fucking Spiffy. A little bit of panel liner would go a long way on this. But yeah, so I found one that was like, it's either called You Are 008 or I Am 008. It's one of those two. And I was looking at that. I'm like, okay, wait, 008, like this has to be like a spy kind of thing inspired by like 007. So like I started reading it, and that one's interesting. I can't speak for quality yet because I'm still reading it, but I could feel it. Like just like, it's one of those things where like if you've read a author's manga like all the way through, you kind of get a feel for that mangaka and author. And so, like, when you read one of their other, like, works, you just kind of instinctively know it's them. And that's what I kind of experienced. because I could tell that the author, artist, writer, etc. of I Am 008, or let's just go with that as the title. I Am 008. I could tell that was Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciples like guy, because like there's while the setting isn't about martial arts and it's about like spies, like I could just feel it from the art. A lot of the like design choice for characters felt very similar. Like the main characters for I Am 008 and Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple are very similar in their design, and then they're both paired up with a character that is female, that is extensively more experienced in the field of combat than they are, with a large rack. Like beat for beat, the character lineup of their like relationships are like the same, right? You even have like the supportive friend who's kind of like strange. Like in Kenichi, the guy's like visually depicted as like having like elf ears and is like very evil looking, whereas in this one the guy has a giant nose, is like like an engineering's expert, and just feels like pure comedic relief, this time not at the expense of the main character. But it's like the similarities are still there. But like in doing stuff like that, it made me like look at other things. I used to read light novels off of a website called like Bakasuki, if I remember correctly. That's where I read things like High School DxD, and I was ahead of High School DxD, farther ahead of the series in terms of the light novel than my friends were in the anime. So like there was just certain scenes that I was waiting for to be animated that I never actually went to like look at, because like I just lost interest in that series. This is keyed. Alright. Okay, I did have it correctly. Okay. A5. But like, in looking at some of the older stuff, I was also reminded of things like Baka and Test. Like, just, like, sadly, when I was younger, a lot of the stuff I was into was like harem manga and harem anime. Half because that's what was popular, and half because that was just a fantasy that, like, a lot of people that were lonely had. Realistically speaking, I wasn't the most popular person, of course, but yeah, so like the world God only knows is just something that like I don't think I've ever heard anyone in like years has talked about in terms of like friend circles, or like just mentioning it as a thing that existed. Same with like Baka and Test. It was another one that kind of like felt like it faded into obscurity. On occasion, I still see people bring up like, what was it? The one with Taiga. Toradora. Like, I still see people bring up Toradora. I still see people bring up, some other, like, series. And those are great. I'm happy to see those get brought up. But, like, The World God Only Knows faded into obscurity. Baka and Test faded into obscurity. A lot of, like, harem genre stuff. Like, no one talks about freezing. There's the list goes on. But like that also brought me to kind of take a look at like some of the other horror stuff that I was kind of into back then. Oh, that's a neat way of doing it. Actually, I should probably shave those off while I can. So like there's one like Dolly Kill Kill was this really weird manga. Alright, yo, have a good night, Ancient Arc. Get that sleep, get that rest, my guy. But yeah, like, Dolly Kill Kill is like a fever dream of a description, where like these weird parade mascots come from another planet to just like harvest humans. And like, something happens to like the main guy. Because, like, it starts out with him trying to, like, just survive. And then him wanting to seek revenge for all the people that he lost. Because, like, these things scooped up his family. They scooped up his friends and stuff. And I don't remember where it goes from there. Because, like, it was relatively new when I found it. So I want to, like, kind of reacquaint myself with Dolly Kill Kill. Another one that was like a horror themed manga was like what was it called? Mahou Shoujo The End, or Magical Girl Apocalypse was like how they translated it to English. That one has a lot of yikes subject material. I'm gonna be real. What's it backwards? Yeah, that seems more right. That one had like a lot of yikes subject material on top of like some of the silliest gore that I can remember. Like something about like, I forgot how it happened, but there was like this one screenshot that I saw, and I don't remember the context for it, but I remember it happening in the manga, where like a girl's like she's smiling, she has a happy face, but there's like her face is separate from her head because a perfect circle is just popped out from her head, because like she like took a blow from like a hammer or something, like some ludicrous crazy stuff that's really like, honestly it's like so gory that it's like silly kind of. But like I remember like reading it, and it escalated to this weird point of like, to where not only is it like magical girls that are like evil, but like they're also like something that you could combine with like a stand to get superpowers. And at one point they even started to like implement time travel as a aspect of the story. It just went really weird places, that one. So I need to take a look at that one again, and that was Magical Girl Apocalypse, or Mahou Shoujo The End. Yeah, no, like back then I was just kind of reading like whatever like came up for me. So like that's how I ended up reading some really advanced, messed up stuff like DeadTube. Which is like black market YouTube, but like you can only you could get a whole bunch of money for like posting videos of like crimes, of like murder and stuff like that. It's like the title of DeadTube sounds really silly, but like the actual content is very over the top and like very deserving of content warnings. Like there is a lot of subject material in there. There's a lot of death because, you know, of course it's called DeadTube, but like that is a manga not for the faint of heart. I cannot recommend that to like the normal person by any means. And like I'm saying that as someone who, depending on the person, would recommend Frank and Fran. Oh yeah. If you could read things like because you brought up Fire Punch, yeah, you're good. You're good. Berserk also has its like insane stuff. But like I'm not as well versed with Berserk, but like Fire Punch is very yeah. But yeah, Frank and Fran. Frank and Fran is something. Oh yeah, no. The guy who wrote Fire Punch is the author of what was it called? Chainsaw Man. And yeah, no, just it tracks. That guy's work is something else. If you get a chance, like I genuinely recommend reading through that author's other works, because he has a couple of one-off, like one-shots that are just fantastic. Yeah. But Frank and Fran, like, because I want to talk about Frank and Fran, because Frank and Fran is a unpolished gem. Not an unpolished gem. It is a hidden gem. It is a hidden gem lying somewhere in some really murky waters that like people are just not able to see through. Boy howdy. So Frank and Fran has to do with the titular character, Fran, right? And she's kind of like a Frankenstein monster. I don't think so. Like, Frank and Fran is... It's not, like, strictly, like, awful. There's good content there. There's good messages and good vibes to be had in Frank and Fran. It's closer to... like... It's like a horror comedy, almost. There we go. I'm not too familiar with Apocalypse Zero. Okay. Gory Kamen Rider fanfic. Okay. I might need to take a look at that later. But it's how do I describe Frankenfran? It's like a deconstruction of horror with a comedic lens to it, right? And Frankenfran is depicted as this girl who's kind of an airhead, but is a medical genius, right? And all she wants to do is help people, but in helping people, she makes things worse in very horrific ways. There's this one story of that's very early on in the chapters of this guy, right? And like he's trying to like confess to this girl, and the girl wants nothing to do with him, right? Like it's actually, and it's like as he's trying to like confess to her, right? She's running away from him and he's chasing after her. She runs into the middle of a street and gets hit by a car, right? And he picks up her body, and he doesn't have a phone, and he drags her to the closest house that he can find. And by pure coincidence, and I might be remembering some of these events wrong because it's been a hot minute, but essentially she gets hit by a car. He wants to save her. He drags her to the closest place he can to like get help, and it's Frankenfran's manor. And she's like, oh yeah, I could save her, right? And so she like content warning for anyone who might like watch this later. She essentially like decapitates the girl, and then like, how do I put this? Like combines the girl's head and brain to like the body of this giant caterpillar. And the girl can't move, she can't do anything herself, but she's technically alive. And so she has to kind of depend on this guy who Frankenfran thought was already her boyfriend, even though that's not the case. And so like at first she's the girl that's a caterpillar, doesn't want anything to do with him, but because she can't move or do anything with the caterpillar's body, she starts to feel lonely, and then starts kind of like Stockholm syndroming herself into seeing the guy and developing feelings for him because she can't really communicate with anyone else. And he's like trying to help her out. She like helping her get used to her caterpillar body through rehabilitation of like her crawling around and stuff. But remember, she's in a caterpillar's body, right? So she like becomes a cocoon, right? And time goes on, and then she breaks out of the cocoon, and she looks normal, right? And like, yo, good for them. Frankenfran essentially discharges the girl, and they go to live happily ever after. The girl that was a caterpillar and the guy that chased her into traffic. Only for you to get another panel of her essentially like sprouting the butterfly wings and is consuming his like stomach and innards and all of that as like a final conclusion to the like chapter. And that's it. That's a chapter. That was one of the 50 ish stories that happen and take place within that manga. It's wild. And Tokupunk, I think he, like, on top of that, I'm not gonna, like, if you go out of your way to read it, there's a lot to find there. When I said that it's a deconstruction, right? It's not just a deconstruction of, like, horror stuff. There's, like, 3 chapters that follow, like, a B plot line of Common Right. It's like they do their own thing where Frankenfran like enhances a guy and literally turns him into like Ichigo. And like those 3 chapters are just like Kamen Rider like storylines, but with the writer's twist on it. There's one chapter separate from all that where like, what was it? These people like messed up and they were messing around with cockroaches, trying to find a way to, like, you know, eliminate the cockroaches. But the cockroaches evolved to deal with the poison that was supposed to kill the cockroaches. And so they try to reach out to Frankenfran, only for Frankenfran to be like, okay, yeah, so I tried to, like, just study them. They're evolving, but they're, like, communicating. And then, like, the story keeps going with these cockroaches, right? And then, like, on a further chapter, like, down the line, where you think the cockroach stuff was, like, a one-off, they reveal that, like, the cockroaches started a society underground where they built their own, like, human settlement, but for cockroaches in the sewers. And, like, the cockroaches are living a, like, weird, like foil life that humans lead, where, like, one cockroach mugs another cockroach. It is wild. Frankenfran is one of the best mangas I have read that no one knows about. I have talked about it. I brought it up in, like, a couple of streams. That, because, like, you know, of course I watch VTubers. But, like, there's one VTuber, and I forgot what was going on, but, like, I typed something along the lines of, like, that's some Frankenfran ass shit going on in the game that they were playing, and someone, like, ats me, like, yo, Frankenfran based. I'm like, there's just, like, yeah, anyone who knows Frankenfran, they know some wild ass shit. But, like, that's part of, like, why I want to be a VTuber, or more in general, like, a content creator. Oh, okay, yeah, Zarkin, no. So I don't know which chapter that is, but I do vaguely remember it. But yeah, no, part of, like, why I wanted to be a content creator in general, like, not necessarily VTubers, I want to just share, like, hobbies. And then, like, how do I put this? I want to share hobbies, and I want people who have hobbies to feel good about their hobbies. Okay. A4, 3, and then B, 5, and 6. But yeah, no, Junji Ito is, like, great. I can't look at fish the same. I've always thought of, like, fish heads as, like, weird and strange. Like, a decapitated fish head, rather. Like I can't deal with decapitated fish heads normally. And then I saw like Gil, and Gil messed that up for me. I also had to stop reading Uzumaki because as dumb as this may sound, I started to see spirals everywhere. And I had to stop. What's some other like horror-esque stuff that I was like super into? At one point I read up and caught up to Gluttonier. Gluttonier is also pretty wild. The thing that everyone knows about Gluttonier is a guy can become a mascot suit with like a giant zipper in the back, and another girl can pull down the zipper and crawl inside of him to pilot him like a mobile suit. It's very weird. Pumpkin Knight is based. Pumpkin Knight is so good. Pumpkin Knight just feels like an American slasher flick. It's so good. It's so good. If I remember correctly, the people who made Pumpkin Knight made another one that was like, it had to do with hillbilly, like a hillbilly island, and that one was also really good. There's another manga that I was reading that kind of had vibes like that. But like it just wasn't as good. And it like they could have leaned into horror, but like how do I put this? Instead of focusing on the horror, they tried to focus on like arrow stuff, and that wasn't the best. That one had to do with like an island that like some people like washed up on, and I don't know, man. Like there's always like some like little bit of like edo that kind of gets mixed in with horror, and for some reason that feels fine. But in this manga's like particular case, it felt distracting. Like it didn't need to be there, at least not as like on the forefront. And like overall I felt like the whole thing suffered for it, because like at the end of the day, like it became like this weird like guy wants to save the girl, but the girl's in some really weird hypersexual like situation that's very like NTR-ish, and there's a lot of like non-consensual stuff. Yeah, no, it was weird. And that's even with the other one, the weird like shit. Yeah. That's even with the like weird hillbilly one. like having like this weird situation. Like High School of the Dead was pretty. I don't know. High School of the Dead was like, it was silly, but like I didn't feel like it detracted from the series too badly. Like the other one felt like it wanted to straight up be like an R18, not R18. Like it felt like it wanted to, like it was meant for adults, but like they couldn't get published in an adult thing, so they settled with being in something else, even if that meant that they couldn't publish it as they envisioned it. But then they still tried to make it like how they envisioned it, which just, I don't know. At the end of the day, it could just be like, it wasn't to my taste, and that's like the end of the story. To be like that. There's another one that I remember reading where like it's a bunch of like high schoolers. They were on a cruise. Something happened to the boat and it's starting to like capsize. And so like the ship like completely inverts, and so like everyone's trying to make it to what's essentially the bottom of the ship where all the air is like kind of like going to. But like on the way there, there's like zombies, and like the zombies aren't just like normal undead. They're like hyper, like they're sentient enough to be able to use weapons. Like the hyper, like, cause like there's different classifications of zombies, right? There's like the living dead kind, where they're not smart. They're literally just like animated corpses, and that's like the end of it. These ones are like they're sentient. They can use weapons. Is it called Holy Holy? Hold on. No. Well, I might put Holy Holy on my watch list. I remember got reintroduced to that manga. The one that I was talking about that I didn't like was called Ingoshima. Ingoshima was the one that I didn't like. But Dolly Kill Kill and Magical Girl Apocalypse were good. There's one called Pygmalion. That one I need to check out. Okay, yeah. So there's that. So, with that, I think I'm gonna call it here, actually, because I still need to get into my costume for that Halloween party. So, again, I will continue this tomorrow and hopefully finish up this kit tomorrow. I'm gonna be starting the stream a bit earlier. I'm not 100% sure when, because at some point I'm gonna be going out and picking up some pizza. So that'll sustain me throughout the day as I try to push through it. So with that, thank you all for stopping by. I'm probably going to continue the manga tangents tomorrow. And see you next time. All right. I'm Hermit, and I'm going to be bouncing out. God, feels so bad. All right, later.